The brand new class mod for Zane is out and it's called Seeing Dead, and we are going to be seeing a lot of dead people falling to the ground because with this class mod, all you're going to be seeing is dead bodies laying around of all the damage you're going to be doing with all your kill skills. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Seeing Dead build. This is LaserBolt and welcome to today's video, guys. Today we're taking a look at a brand new build for the brand new class mod Seeing Dead. This is a brand new class mod that you're able to pick up from the Moxxi Heist DLC. If you guys are trying to get your hands on this one, this is a world drop. So as long as you play the DLC, you're pretty sure going to be getting this class mod. Now, it's going to be very exponential that you guys pay attention to the rest of the video so I can explain how this class mod works and the type of weapons that actually work really well with this build and how this whole build synergizes around the class mod, making it a monster. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into the skill tree. Alright, so here we are in the skill tree, guys. We're going to start off with the Hitman tree, and we're going to start off with Violent Speed. Once again, this is going to make Zane run super duper fast, and the reason why this works really well is because we have it paired with Violent Momentum. Now, this is two synergized perfectly, guys, and whenever I run a Zane build, these two are like my main kind of focal points due to the fact that the synergy you're able to get from these two is extremely potent. And remember, if you are a Zane main, you're going to want to be constantly moving, and that constant movement is going to allow you guys to do a ton of damage. Next up, guys, we're going to be dumping 1 point into drone delivery, once again allowing our drone to fire a grenade, putting our grenade into use, and then we have 1 more point into Death Follows Close. Now, the good thing about this class mod that we have is we're going to be able to pick up a point from Violent Violence, and we're also able to pick up a point from Playing Dirty, and we're also able to get the Good Misfortune from our class mod alone. Even though we don't have a point here, we're still going to be able to practice. Now, in addition to that, guys, we are picking up the drone, we're picking up the Winter's Drone, and we're picking up the Bad Dose. These tie in perfectly, so that's what you're going to want to have on one of your slots. Then, guys, we're going to go over to the Undercover tree, and we're going to start off with 5 points to Adrenaline. This is going to increase our action skill cooldown rate, so that means our Barrier and our Sentinel are going to be procced constantly, almost indefinitely. Then we're going to do a total of 5 points into Ready for Action. This is going to recharge our shield, and it's going to give us shield recharge delay. Then we're going to be dumping 5 points into Brain Freeze. Basically, anytime we score a critical hit, it's going to slow the enemy and freeze them to death, making it very powerful. Then we're going to be doing 1 point into Stiff Upper Lip. This is going to give us a damage resistance. So whatever damage we get, we're going to be resistant to it. We're going to be dumping 1 point into Rise to the Occasion. Once again, giving us Sane Health Regeneration. Then we're going to be doing 1 point into Confident Competence. It's going to increase our gun damage and give us weapon accuracy. Then we're going to be dumping 1 point into Best Serve Cold. It's just dumping 1 point here. We just want to make sure we proc this one. Now, this one in particular, it doesn't seem like, oh man, why do you dump 1 point here? It's, you know, Cryonova doesn't trigger that often. When this Cryonova actually triggers, it's actually pretty effective. We're going to dump 1 point into Futility Belt. It's going to gain resistance to non-elemental damage. And then last but not least, we're doing Cool Call and Collective. Really good, guys. It's going to allow us to freeze the enemies regardless of whatever weapon we're using. It's going to be very awesome. Next, we're going to go to the Double Agent tree. Now, for the Double Agent tree, guys, we're picking up Synchronicity, increasing our gun damage to plus 20% once our action skill is active. And since our action skill is active every single time, it's going to proc every single time. Then we have 1 point into Borrowed Time. Actually, 1 point, sorry. 5 points into Borrowed Time. This is going to increase our action skill duration. So that means our Barrier and our Sentinel are going to be active almost every single time. Last but not least, guys, we're dumping a total of 1 points into Donny Brook. And what this is going to allow us to do is going to increase our gun damage. And since our class mod is giving us a ton more damage here, it's going to push our gun damage all the way up to 36. And for our Barrier, I didn't mention what we wanted. So we wanted this for our Barrier. Pick up our Barrier. We're going to be picking up the Some Shite, and then we're going to go with the 360 one, which is going to cover us all around. So with that being said, now let's jump into the gear and find out what makes this build work amazingly. Alright, so here we are, guys, in the gear section. Now for the gear section, I'm going to mention a couple weapons that are a requirement and some other viable options that you might have for this particular build. Number one requirement is this one, the Carter's EMP5. The reason why I want to recommend this weapon is because this weapon makes you move fast, and the faster you're moving, the more damage you're going to be outputting because of our skill tree. In addition to that, guys, when we slide with this weapon, it does insane amount of damage. It does currently with the build I have set up right there, it does 140k damage if you slide and shoot. And if you're just regularly running around, it still does a ton of damage. So it's a really effective weapon. You're definitely going to want to make sure you target those, target certain hard killing enemies with a slide and shoot. And we have this one. While Sentinel is active, gain 50% damage, bonus damage as cryo damage. This is going to be effective due to the fact that not only is the weapon already allowing us to freeze enemies because we're running Cool Column Collective, but with this additional 50% when our Sentinel is active, which he's active almost every single time, we are going to be able to proc this cryo damage a lot. The next weapon we're going to be taking a look at, I did mention for this one, the EMP5. It's going to be able to knock down almost anything, red bar, blue bar, yellow bar. But the reason why we're running the Cutsman, which is our second weapon we're running, is this only primarily for whenever we want to get rid of a yellow bar really, really fast, especially bosses. That's what's going to make this synergize perfectly well. Once again, this is going with the while Sentinel is active, gain 50% bonus cryo damage. So we're going to be doing cryo damage in addition to corrosive damage. One thing I do want to go back to the EMP5 that I forgot to mention, guys, is that the one I'm running right now, it has the two ammo per shot consumption. This is extremely important because there are other variants that don't come with the 2 ammo per shot consumption. This is going to give you a little bit more damage, but if you do have the ones that don't have the 2 ammo consumption, you want to look for something that has weapon damage like a plus 27, plus 25 weapon damage, which are pretty powerful. I do have one of those. I'll show this build for you guys if we drop 100 likes on this video. The next weapon I have right here is the Digi's Smooth Tube. Now, you're able to get this from the Moxxi Heist. Really good weapon, guys, especially if you're running it on cryo. Not a requirement, but it's still a really good weapon. The other weapon I want to mention here, of course, is the Nighthawken. Nighthawken is going to be a beast here as well. But to be honest with you guys, I tried the Nighthawken and I tried the MP5. The MP5 does a ton of work, but the Nighthawken is actually a pretty good viable option. Next up, guys, as far as shields, we're rocking the Transformer. We have on action skill N, the next 2 magazines will have 50 additional bonus corrosive damage. So not only are we getting that cryo damage from our Sentinel, we're also getting that corrosive damage from our shield, which makes it really powerful. Next, of course, we're going to be taking a look at the class mod. Now, the class mod, guys, is what makes everything perfect. Here's what it says. Whenever Satan damages an enemy with his weapon, he has a chance to automatically activate all his kill skills, which is amazing. And this actually procs very frequently. I actually tested this, and I'll have a more in-depth video going over the class mods. But I tried this, and it's actually procs very often. In addition to it procking, is that the kill skills will gain an additional 25 bonus effect damage, which is really amazing. So it's going to tie in perfectly. Now, I have this one that dropped perfectly for me. It comes with a plus 25 weapon damage, plus 10 doll weapon damage, and plus 31 SMG damage. So it tied in perfectly. That's why I went with the EMP 5, because it's a doll weapon, and the synergy here is just amazing, as you guys saw in the footage before we started into the gear, into the skill tree. The next up, we're going to be running the Snowdrift Idol. Now, you don't have to run the Snowdrift Idol. You could run anything else. What you primarily want to be looking for a shield here is you want to look for a shield that has, a good amount of weapon damage and the magazine size. The magazine size is fundamental here. You could run the Idol. You could also run the where's that? Do I have it here? Now, I don't think I have it here, but you could run the Victory Rush. The Victory Rush will work very well here as well. Or the Elemental Projectile works really well here as well. But I am running the Snowdrift Idol. It does give me the bonus cryo damage, which I'm proccing with my Sentinel. So we are, that's the reason we went with this one. But anything that has a plus 40 magazine size should fit perfectly here. And last but not least, for our grenades, we're running the Recurring Hex. With action skill N, we get the bonus cryo damage. And that's the main reason we're running this one. Now, how exactly do you want to play with this? Well, in order for you guys to actually get the most effective option while playing with this, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you launch your barrier, you launch your Sentinel, pick up your barrier so you can get that 360 and just start laying ham on the people who are around you. It's a very simple build as far as how to play with it. because all you got to do is make sure you keep your sentinel and your barrier active. Remember, you're able to do that by freezing enemies and killing them. And since we have a perfect synergy and a lot of cryo damage going in here, we are going to be freezing a ton of enemies, allowing us to keep our barrier and allowing us to keep our sentinel as active as we possibly can. And there you guys have it. That is how the brand new class mod and one of the best builds for that class mod is conformed. If you guys play with Amara, Moze, or Flag, definitely check out my builds for each individual new class mod that's released for them. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.